Switching sides, switching sides.
When a new video of 6ix9ine with Trippie Redd's pregnant girlfriend was made public, the internet went berserk.
This is that same 6ix9ine. Yo, babe, look at this.
This video is now widely believed to have sparked the events that resulted in 6ix9ine's girlfriend being put in a body bag a few weeks ago. I know everything. Let's break it down. When 6ix9ine and Trippie's girlfriend had an excessive amount of contact. How are you, family? The day that 6ix9ine decided to play the most offensive game in hip-hop history is what I'll tell you about. We're referring to the instance in which this man posted images of himself having sex with Alex, Trippie Redd's girlfriend, on Instagram, seemingly as a perverted victory lap.
This is that crazy. That same 6ix9ine. Yo, babe, look at this.
It is 6ix9ine. It's Treyway.
You right, babe. Bobs.
After a long time, 6ix9ine and Shorty became close, and as a form of revenge, they even had the audacity to sing Trippie's own songs. They were chanting songs like Love, You Got It Bad by Usher and Sexual Healing by Marvin Gaye, all to mock my buddy, Trippie. It's petty on a completely different level. However, hold on, things get worse. It wasn't just the song that showed disdain. Trippie was really tagged in these postings by 6ix9ine to ensure he saw everything. Hollywood Fix asked 6ix9ine if he had slept with Alex, and he said, "I am out of that Nick girl." Yeah, that's the kind of statement that starts fights on the street. Look at this though. Trippie actually anticipated the whole thing. My man may have seen it coming from a distance, because he was accustomed to 6ix9ine's pattern. For 6ix9ine, scams of this nature were nothing new. He had a reputation for targeting his enemies by utilizing their girls. However, these two cats' hostilities started long before they were related. We're talking about 2017 when these guys played on songs like 1469 and Poles and were really amazing. However, things rapidly took a turn for the worst when Trippie called 6ix9ine a pedophile on social media in reference to his guilty plea in 2015. There are 400 people against pedophiles, Trippie claims, and the end began at that point. In the contemporary period, Trippie was faced with a whole new type of dilemma. This time, it has nothing to do with past girlfriends. Trippie was listed as the father of the child when Coi Leray announced her pregnancy. On January 1st, 2025, everything was picture perfect. And Shorty looked stunning in the photos, which featured pink balloons that spelled out Coi and highlighted her pregnancy. That fairy tale lasted for nearly 3 weeks until things went wrong though. Coi posted the statement, "There's nothing worse than being cheated on her Instagram stories on January 22nd, 2025. "I wouldn't want this misery to befall my worst enemy." You know, when a pregnant woman starts talking about being cheated on, the streets will rapidly get quite raucous. The internet was in a frenzy. Trippie's neck was attacked by fans who said things like, "Why come back around and get her pregnant if he was going to cheat?" He then had the gall to project his appearance. The audacity. When Rick Ross's ex-girlfriend Tia Kemp publicly reprimanded Trippie in a video, the issue escalated. Hold on though, because it gets messier. Alex was dragged back into the drama when supporters claimed she was the other woman. The statement, "What's not really cool is coming on my page and harassing me based on assumptions," made Shorty openly deny everything. She claimed to have been Trippie's first love, but insisted she didn't ruin a happy home. The direct communications between Coi and Alex were obviously offensive when they were leaked. Coi called Alex a loser and accused her of selling. "Because you're on BS while you're pregnant, that's got nothing to do with me, Shorty," Alex responded. According to Alex, Trippie even offered to cover the cost of her business. As if the chaos wasn't enough, Trippie posted a mirror selfie with a new lover in April 2025. When Coi was over 6 months pregnant, there is no one as brave as this guy. In a song he released in February 2025, Coi addressed the adultery with lines like, "X is supposed to be an X for a reason. He wished to be present when you were confronting demons." One fan responded angrily, saying, "Cheating on your pregnant GF is wild. My family and I had plans. You were going to cheat. There is a camera in the room. You were unaware that I was creeping. In fact, all the evidence was with Shorty." But in a podcast, Coi Leray's father, Tenzing, had foreseen all of this, stating that Trippie would surely cheat on his daughter. Listen carefully.
You don't think it'd be like hard, like dating a rapper, like a rap star, like a male rapper?
Right, yeah, she's gonna have to deal with it. I mean,
like Trippie Redd been in the game a minute. Like he got crazy fans too.
Man, they be going crazy. So you already know the groupie lines down the corner after every show. Him as a man is gonna have to come to terms with that with just him and God. Because I don't want to be a hypocrite because I know what I was doing. But she's my daughter. If you love her and you love the child and you plan on being with her, then nowadays with social media, it's going to be hard to do any type of cheating. But if you do it, you just be respectful at it.
So you think being in a monogamous relationship is going to be hard for them with the pressure?
It's hard to be in a monogamous relationship with anybody right now. I know Coi is a one-woman type guy.
Mm-hmm.
She's not with the, what I'm saying, him messing around. So
because some relationships be open. She's not with that open stuff. She's like, hey, you're mine. That's it.
He later added a piece of advice for the duo.
Yeah.
No, she ain't with that.
Is there any advice you would give to Trippie Redd in dealing with your daughter?
If there was any advice I would give him with Coi being pregnant is to understand that they're going to go through hormonal changes. Don't take it too personal. Mm-hmm. If she's flipping out, let her calm down.
Trippie has a complete pattern when it comes to relationships. So I'll tell you more about his turbulent love life today. Before Coi Leray, Trippie was involved in controversies all over the place and had affairs with other women. We are talking about a man who has ties to a number of women in the industry, and all of his relationships have ended in some kind of controversy. The connection between Trippie and Coi actually began in 2019, at a time when hip-hop was already gaining popularity. That first ground, however, was short and intense, lasting only a few months before everything went wrong. Trippie had the audacity to include the song Leray on his album A Love Letter to You following their breakup in 2019. The song addressed their breakup with lyrics like "Misery," "After 2 months," and "Love at First Sight," along with the line "Always Feeling Up." By love or no love. This was not disrespectful to Coi in the slightest. In 2020, she said in an interview with No Jumper,
"No, I didn't like it. It was very what the because I always thought we really had something outside of the music. You feel me? So I'm just like, damn, let's really just go ahead and can we get to if you got something to say, let's get together and you say that shit in my face."
In a 2020 Soap Central interview, she later called Trippie her soulmate, demonstrating that she continued to feel a connection to my man even after he made their relationship public. When August 2024 arrived, these two decided to give it another go. Coi wrote in the caption of a since-deleted Instagram picture of them on FaceTime, "Sleeping on FaceTime, waking up on FaceTime," referencing their shared love of Despicable Me's minions. Trippie told TMZ in September 2024 that he had contacted her because he missed her and that their reunion was low-key. They appeared together at events like Revolt World 2024 in Atlanta on September 20th, 2024, and the Dollsville and the Doodleverse debut at TIFF on September 7th, 2024. They kissed and hugged in public on stage in Ohio, and Coi remarked, "Thank you for showing up with me on my last show day in Ohio at Trippie Redd. I love you just as much as everyone else." However, this is the issue with Trippie. The man has a track record of not being faithful. Even his romance with Alex from 2017 to 2018 was marred by controversy and rumors about his loyalty. In that 2018 video, Alex's inclusion alongside 6ix9ine wasn't wholly unexpected. They already had a tense connection. After announcing her pregnancy in January 2025, Coi showed off her expanding baby bump with Trippie. It looked perfect in the cradle. On her Instagram stories, she disclosed that she was over 4 months pregnant but claimed her small frame made the tummy less noticeable. Images and videos show pink balloons that spell out Coi, implying a girl kid. Later in April 2025, Coi's girl mom's Instagram post confirmed this. However, that happiness didn't last long. There was a reason behind the allegations of cheating that surfaced in January 2025. They brought receipts and a lot of drama. On February 5, 2025, Trippie shared a video showing himself smiling and blowing a raspberry while rejecting Coi's song about adultery, exposing his true self. Then he did it again. On February 18, 2025, he then tweeted, "I'll do it again for everything I've ever done wrong." In fact, this kind of statement gives you all the knowledge you need about a person. This suggested that the tension remained after Coi's exposed from February 17th about men needing discipline in relationships. The disrespect reached a new level when it was disclosed by sources that the couple had split up for the second time. By February 2025, and Trippie wasn't finished being messy. Coi started posting loving photos from his birthday with the licks in August 2025. Suggesting that the two were once again together while he was getting used to being a new father to their daughter, Miyoko, who was born in June 2025. However, the problem is about to get even worse when we look at 6ix9ine's history of single-handedly attacking other rappers' women. 6ix9ine's tactic of targeting rivals with their girlfriends, like Chief Keef's baby mama. Hey, we just spoke about how 6ix9ine handled the Alex issue in a very dubious manner. But I will tell you this, he had run this type of game before. This guy had a whole tactic that was inspired by 50 Cent when it came to disparaging his rivals. By utilizing their women, additionally, Mama Slim Danger, Chief Keef's child, was caught up in 6ix9ine's trivial actions in June 2018. The feud between 6ix9ine and Chief Keef started in May 2018. Additionally, it was over some real street stuff. Rapper Cuban Doll was allegedly the victim of domestic abuse by Keef and his Glow Gang partner, too. Doll was cool with 6ix9ine. But instead of keeping it on wax, 6ix9ine disrespectfully took it to the streets. At a Gucci store in New York City. On June 13, 2018, 6ix9ine lavished about $75,000 on Slim Danger, the mother of Keith's kid, Zinc Clark, in addition to buying fanny packs, wallets, sunglasses, and clothing. 6ix9ine made sure to film the entire occasion for Instagram. But contempt wasn't limited to the money. In the video, when Slim Danger initially showed up, she stated,
"What's up, this Slim Danger, this Chief Keef baby mama. I'm out here in New York, and guess what? They don't do shit for his f***ing kid."
You know, Treyway here, man. You don't know how to take care of your girl, I'm gonna take care of her for you.
Whole situation even caused drama at 6ix9ine's own house. The mother of 6ix9ine's daughter, Soraya, Sarah Molina, criticized 6ix9ine on Instagram. Live for spending money on Slim Danger while living in the home she and her daughter shared. The people weren't pleased with 6ix9ine's ruse either. Charlemagne Thaw God, who chastised 6ix9ine for exploiting Slim as a pawn and her for taking part, named it the 11th donkey of the day for 2018. The hip-hop community called the post one of the most disrespectful displays in hip-hop, and it garnered 8,500 votes and 2,400 comments on Reddit. But the story doesn't end there. In May 2020, a slight change occurred. Lena, 6ix9ine's alleged second baby mom, received private messages from Chief Keef stating that she was too attractive for the child and inquiring as to when she will become his girl. "I could link my baby dad's ops, but I am not for the streets," Sorry, Lena stated to Chief Keef, implying that she was open to Keef's approaches but chose not to pursue them. Additionally, during an Instagram Live with the Island Boys in May 2022, Slim Danger said that 6ix9ine did more for her. More than the shopping spree, indicating a deeper degree of involvement. As she went on to explain that Keef wasn't doing underscore for their son, the Island Boys exclaimed, "Fuck Chief Keef." This entire pattern of 6ix9ine in using their wives to target rivals is an example of how they operate. He was aware of the best places to hit. He was always looking for ways to establish a personal relationship with his enemies, from Alex to Slim Danger. But in the end, this strategy might have endangered the people he loved. How street feuds led to tragic outcomes for 6ix9ine's closest circle. We've been talking about how 6ix9ine damaged the relationships with ladies of other rappers. But let me tell you how all that street drama ultimately swept him up in the worst possible way. In August 2025, Ariella Longosta Maya Polano, close friend and 69-year-old alleged girlfriend, was found dead in her car on the Cross County Parkway in Mount Vernon, New York, suffering multiple gunshot wounds. Ariella, a 33-year-old Dominican influencer with more than 556,000 Instagram followers, was the main character in 6ix9ine's 2023 WOA music video. The Westchester County Police Department ruled that she was the victim of violence rather than a random victim and determined her death to be a homicide. Approximately 4:30 a.m., she had just finished her shift at the Icon New York Lounge in Manhattan that morning. 6ix9ine, who was devastated, posted images, videos, tributes to her on his Instagram stories, calling her "my sister," a great woman, and the Queen of New York. Cardi B posted "Rip Dominican Pretty" on Instagram to show how popular Ariella was in the community. But this is the point at which everything starts to go completely insane. Furthermore, this connects to every subject we have covered in relation to the Trippie Redd battle. Trippie Redd reveals why he caught Yael 6ix9ine's girlfriend in a YouTube video that went viral. It suggests that Trippie killed Ariella in retaliation for their long-running feud, particularly the 2018 episode with Alex. Now wait, let me tell you all about this. Remember how we talked about 6ix9ine's in confessing to planning? The November 2017 attack on Trippie at the New York hotel during his 2019 racketeering trial. After Mans testified that he was upset over Trippie's comments on the internet and instructed his boss to take action, Anthony Harv Ellison hit Trippie in the mouth. Furthermore, 6ix9ine claimed in the same trial that Trippie Redd was associated with the 59 Brims group is putting their all on the line. He explained how his group attacked Trippie, stalked out his video shoot, and followed his van. This wasn't all about rap feud. This street nonsense had real consequences, but it's more profound. 6ix9ine admitted during his trial that he offered his associate, Kentakuda B. McKenzie, $20,000 to shoot Chief Keef outside the W Hotel in New York City in June 2018 while he was taking Kez' baby mother on that Gucci shopping trip. Do you see the pattern here? 6ix9ine was playing dangerous games and connecting with dangerous people. All of this background information is used in the movie to bolster its claims that Trippie killed Ariella. The gang connections, Alex's situation, and the hotel attack all suggest a desire for retribution. It seems that there was a tipping point in the years of back and forth between 6ix9ine and Trippie. Social media went crazy when posts from accounts like WorldStar said that Ariella and her partner were involved in a street feud. And at My Mix, they labeled it a targeted hit. The streets have been speaking when you look. Given his history of igniting hostility with his combative methods, it's simple to see how someone associated with 6ix9ine could become a target. Think about it. We talked about how 6ix9ine shopping with his baby mama irritated Chief Keef. His role in real-life shootings and assaults, as well as the way he humiliated Trippie over the Alex problem. As he spied on his 9 Trey comrades and collaborated with authorities in 2019, he made even more enemies on the streets. Icon New York. Starlets of New York and Opus Lounge recalled Ariella as a shining star and a loving mother of 2 daughters. She was, nevertheless, involved in the dangerous world of 6ix9ine, where rap feuds turn into real, violent crimes and where following someone's girlfriend can lead to deadly retaliation. The fact that everything happened at once is what aggravates me the most. We recently talked about Trippie's personal issues with the infidelity allegations and Coi Leray's pregnancy. How Alex was brought back into the conversation and how all of the old footage with 6ix9ine kept coming up. Then, in August 2025, Ariella passes away in what the investigators are calling a targeted attack. Whether Trippie had anything to do with what happened with these disputes and feuds create a dangerous web, as evidenced by the fact that people are even linking Ariella. When you're out there trashing people, robbing them of their ladies, shopping, posting with their ex-partners, and becoming involved in street politics, that energy eventually comes back. You know, that's the real lesson here. Playing with fire in public can burn innocent people. Yet contempt and controversy have been the foundation of 6ix9ine's whole career. Ariella was just trying to live her life as a mother of 2. Became caught up in the dangerous world of rap feuds and street politics. But let me explain the dangerous web that 6ix9ine has created over the years. Because Trippie and Chief Keef are not the only people that engage in this strategy of using scorn to forge enemies. His enemies were even more intent on hurting 6ix9ine. When he cooperated with federal investigators in 2019, testifying against his 9 Trey Gangster Bloods associates. During that trial, 6ix9ine did more than just spy on men. He exposed an entire network of violence and illegal conduct. He explained how his crew staked out rivals and planned attacks, and even admitted to paying $20,000 for shootings. When you publish such content on the record, you're not just making rap enemies, you're making life or death enemies. The violence that encircled 6ix9ine's circle was also nothing new. Remember how he was kidnapped and robbed by his own ninetary co-workers in July 2018. Dashcam footage of the event was released in 2019. These men took him for everything: his gold, his wealth, his dignity. If your own crew is prepared to violate you in that manner, just think of what your enemies would be prepared to do. The assault on Trippie at that New York hotel in November 2017 was also not an instance of small-time hostility. They planned. The whole event followed Trippie's van from his video shoot, and executed it like a military operation, according to 6ix9ine's testimony. That's the level of planned violence we're talking about. And once you cross that line, there's no going back. Ariella lived up to all of 6ix9ine's declared ideals, which adds to the sadness of her death. Having Dominican pride, being devoted to New York, and supporting women in the nightlife scene. She was a recognized person who worked hard at reputable companies like Icon New and had over 556,000 followers. York. But because she was in 6ix9ine's orbit, she was in danger whether she knew it or not. Furthermore, nothing can be overlooked in terms of scheduling. We're talking about August 2025. That same year, all of that Coi and Trippie turmoil was taking place. That same year, Alex was pulled back into old beef. The 2018 video of 6ix9ine mocking Trippie was being brought up by fans. They all had old wounds to reopen. All of them were reminded of their earlier rudeness. Ariella was likely the victim of an assault and not a random victim, which means that someone wanted her dead, according to the authorities. The fact that 6ix9ine was close to her made her a target, regardless of whether it had anything to do with her past or present enemies. The streets have a long history of violence, disdain, and snitching, and that energy always comes full circle when you make it your career. Conflicts between 6ix9ine and musicians like Casanova, whom he also implicated in his trial testimony, created even more lethal enemies. Rap feuds weren't all that they were. They were street brawls with real consequences. What's really flawed is how all these feuds and strife created a terrible cycle of violence that only grew worse. From the attack on Trippie at the hotel to the shooting attempt on Chief Keef, 6ix9ine's own captivity, and now Ariella's murder. Each episode escalated the stakes and the threat of the adversary. This also connects to everything we have been talking about with Coi and Trippie. When you're constantly creating drama, insulting others, and provoking confrontation to get attention and influence, real violence will eventually follow. The fact that people are making these connections at all shows how these feuds create a web of potential retaliation, even if Trippie had nothing to do with Ariella's experience. The streets never forget when you make as many enemies as 6ix9ine did, including rival rappers, gang members, and government witnesses who were imprisoned because of his testimony. The consequences could be lethal. Ariella paid a heavy price for her involvement in that dangerous world. That is the real tragedy of this whole situation. If you enjoyed this video and would not mind seeing more of this type of stuff, kindly click on the card that shows on the screen.